Hey, how's it going? And today I just wanted to do an update on a video I just did about the session type. And I said something that isn't really correct, and so I wanted to correct it for the record, and it's related to the session type. So what I had said was that, and I think this is confusing, but I essentially said that there was just one instance of the session type, which is correct. There's only one instance of it, but I said it couldn't be accessed from another class. But then as I thought about that, I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense because how can it be a global variable, but then you can't access it from another class? I'm just going to show you why I said that. Okay, so a lot of times if I'm not sure about something, I'll do a bunch of tests. I'll just test the code myself and I'll run through a bunch of scenarios and then I'll form conclusions based on what I'm observing. But then I realize I can still come to faulty conclusions based on my observations. So let me just explain what I've got in the scene here. I've got two verse devices, right? And neither of them have add edibles on them. So they're just two verse devices. So there's two sections of code, right? So I've got verse device 1 and verse device 2. So let's look at verse device 1. So verse device 1 creates a global variable using a weak map, and we're going to use a session type and a string type. So we set the data types up here, and then on begin play, what we do is we essentially initialize those two data types. We bring in the session type and we bring in the session ID or whatever, and then we bring in a string, and this is just saying OK Studios was here. That is the string data type. And then if that is successful, if we successfully set the key and the value, this is the key and this is the value, if we successfully set those, then we're going to print out a message. And then here I'm just accessing the string to verify that I indeed did set the string data type to this string right here. That's all this does. Now in verse device 2, I was seeing if I could access that global variable, right? And this is how I made the faulty conclusion. So what I did here is I'm just doing the same thing I did over here. I'm accessing the value. So this right here, my string, is the same thing I'm doing over here. I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm accessing the key of the map to get the value. And then I figured, well, this will print out. This should print out. But now watch. So you see what's going on. I walk through the code. I'm accessing the map. It's a global variable. This verse device sees the variable over here in this verse device. So it's acting as a global variable. And I'm just simply accessing the key to get the value, and I want to print it out, right? Seems straightforward. So let's come in here and compile the code. So we'll go build the verse code, and let me push the changes. If I can successfully access the global variable with the key and print out the string value, then we should see this line of code here. And if it doesn't, then we should see unable to access. So the question is, what would you expect to see? Well, I would expect to see this line of code because I'm not getting any errors and I'm accessing a global variable. So let's see what happens. See if I see that string, or do I see unable to access? See, unable to access. Did you see that? So that's how I drew the conclusion that this didn't work from another class because I'm not able to access it. But then it dawned on me as I thought about it, I wonder if it can't access it, because I started thinking about the order of operations. Like if I have two devices in the scene, like think about this, I have a code in here and a code in here. How do I know which code is going to implement first? Like, is this code going to process first, or is this code going to process first? And then it dawned on me, what if I'm getting that error because this code ran first and this one ran second? So when this went to access it, there was nothing to access. So it came back false. So what if that's the reason why? Like, who knows which one of these sections of code is going to implement first? What if I make sure that this code runs first? And so how I could do that is, let me just put this one to sleep. So let's put this to sleep for 6 seconds, okay? So this way, with this going to sleep, then this code is guaranteed to run first. So I was thinking the reason it wasn't working is because the variable hasn't been set. So I said, well, I'll make sure this code runs first, and then this code runs second. So if I come in here and let's build those changes, and let's push those changes, That's one thing I like about working in the verse code is that the system updates fast. Okay, so now if they come in here, let's see if we see the message. Well, I guess we got to go through this. Okay, let's try it. Okay, global variable has been set, and we confirmed that the string value has been set. Now let's see. Do we see unable? See, it went through. See, so it so it wasn't correct what I said, but I wanted to show you why I said what I said. The global variable can be accessed from anywhere, from any class, using the GetSession. So just be mindful that there is, I guess, an order of how things operate, but you can access GetSession. Even though there's just one instance of it, it can access the global variable from any class. It's not just restricted to one class. So I just wanted to clarify that. So anyway, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.